All right, hello everybody. Today's video, we're going to be testing out some of the farming mechanics and looking at the Brondo Flexo Deluxe Esquire design. It still holds up. Just FYI, we'll be going into trade, a bunch of stuff, just kind of looking at the new patch, talking about things as they occur. I will say, like right off the bat, I'm having an issue with farming where the fertility just tanks. If even with something as simple as wheat and barley like this, like wheat fertility tanks or barley fertility will tank. So I'm having to revert to just having one system. So even on really good land, this was part of the previous issue I had with the previous build. So they still haven't really fixed this. So I will kind of say, like right off the bat, that the new patch definitely has some positives, but I feel personally like they're not focusing on the real issues with the game right now. But just sit back, relax. We're gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna build it out. We'll talk about mechanics, talk about how everything works. Let's get to it. Okay, let's get this started. So we have a new interface. We can stare longingly into their eyes now. I think there's a couple more doohickeys over here. That's pretty cool. Now we can be this dude making love to a tree. We need to scale this. Ooh, there's a, yeah, we can scale in multiple directions. I don't know if that was there before. We can make him taller. That's good enough for me. So this is also part of the new interface. They've even talked about totally revamping the UI and some of the patch notes. So just off the top of my head, the two biggest things with this patch, they've reduced ale production from 2 to 1, and they've also disabled tier 1 houses from using and drinking ale. So that was something that was happening. So what that means is you're probably going to have a lot of houses at tier 1 now versus tier 3 and 4. Now they need to introduce mead and they need to introduce wine and ciders or something to counteract this. The problem I have with the game right now is they're putting in these mechanics without any solutions to the problems they're creating. It's like, hold off on implementing these mechanics until you've implemented other forms of alcohol production. But we'll find out, right? We're going to go the distance here. So we're going to play Lake Lem. I'm going to slap us down. I do like the new user interface. Mandlatch is my fave. Let's do a little coastal city. Normal difficulty, just so we have a baseline. All right, so I'm taking whatever we got. We're just going with it. So over here we have a rich deposit of clay and a rich deposit of iron, meaning we have the worst farmland. And I'm a liar. We're going to re-roll until I get rich farmland. I would really like to see what the barley situation's like. All right, we're going to go as Baldy McBald. Ooh, we got a silly hat. And we got a dude giving 2 fingers. We can turn those fingers upside down now. And we can do this. I'm honestly a little freaked out right now. And we can give multiple fingers. Now I have to come up with some kind of like meaning to this herald. He's pointing the way 4 times. I don't know what that means. All right, we're going to go with a dark background. Baldy McBald. This is my favorite part of the game right here, as you can tell. Lake Lem, Mandlatch. Okay, I have a good feeling about this one. I have the proper name. I have the ridiculous herald. I have a rich... Wow, that's actually pretty good. This is my second roll, and we nailed it. We nailed it. And we got rich wild animals, which is great because we have an early trade. But just to make sure I'm not crazy, pause the game. All right, yeah, we got it. So we're going to look for the areas of the best barley fertility. So we have... This isn't actually a bad area here. What I would like to do is preemptively put down my farm plots from the very... Ooh, me likey. So one thing I noticed in my prior playthrough with the farm fertilities is that if you have, let's say like emmer and rye on the same thing, they go a little crazy, right? So you want to have fields for rye and barley, etc. So over here, you can see this is cool. So we got a great thing going on over here. So here's the problem though, is our starting location is right here. So most likely I'm going to build my first industry houses here. Actually, this is perfect. We're going to have our city right over here in this corner area. And then down here, plenty of farming. Okay, so we're going to have lakeside farm plots. And we want these to be between 1 and 1.0 Morgans. And that's just for ease. Now you can go to about 1. Actually, yeah, let's do 1.4. You can go 1.5 pretty easy with the plow. I've explained this in the past. The reason that I do this is simply because it's easier. Essentially, the ox can only... You can't plant seeds while the ox is plowing. So if you make it too big, they're sitting around doing nothing. I found 1.5 is about right where they want to be. Now we do have a clay mine. I'm going to be honest, like the mining yields are so poor that I just don't care. We're going to bury the clay. We'll order the clay. It'll be cheaper. All right, that's a 2 Morgan. We don't want that. That one might be a 2er as well, but you can see we're getting a little bit longer here. All right, and I don't really want to cut these trees down quite yet because I might want to cut them down myself. I just wanted to get a basic little area. We're going to come in here. We're going to cut all this down. All right, so this kind of sucks. We're a little close to certain things. Okay, so in order for this to work correctly, we have to be really, really wise. So we want to place things as close as possible if we're going to get our families up. So I'm going to do a couple of things. We are going to be using the Brondo Flexo Deluxe in this video because people keep asking me to do another one. So I'm going to give you guys new beta patch interpretations. Of course, we all know the logistics changed. They changed all the pathfinding. So they spent the last 3 or 4 months working on pathfinding. And so they won't run into each other. Combat will work a little bit better. I'll be going over that jazz too. So we got ourselves a little road here. And we got our little plots. We're just going to get up our industry zone first. And I'm going to get up 3 regular houses. And then we're going to build 3 more. And what we're going to do in addition is get up another hitching post. Order our second ox. And we're going to let them get to work. All right. We're going to get 3 in the logging camp. Remember, it's already got protect resource area, so we don't have to worry about it going crazy and deforesting Bambi's entire livelihood. Actually, I think we got the rabbits. Do we have the rabbit? Yeah, we got rabbits. Just a bunch of... I feel sorry for these rabbits. Like, think about it. It's been a pristine environment for so long. And then we just come in. And then we just, like, encircle the rabbits and take their children. It's pretty sick. All right, let's watch this. All right, we got 2 houses up, and yeah, you can see this ox. What's his name? What is the ox's name? This is more important than anything going on right now. Vlen. That is a pretentious name for an ox if I've ever seen one. All right, Vlen, you keep doing you. All right, so we need to get a couple more houses out over here. 3 more, so we have 6 houses in total. That will get us our 6th family. Okay, so we only have enough goods. This is where I get a little pissy with the game because the snap to road tool, in my opinion, should be a perfect Burgage plot, but they're like, nah. Let's make it like 0.7. So you have to make it big, and so we're just gonna get as much timber as possible. So we did order another ox, and the ox has like kind of a random timer in this game. Sometimes you get it immediately, sometimes it takes a bit because it comes from off map, and it can kind of come from multiple directions. So you do have that working against you. Speed this up. There we go. We got that second timber. So we want to get these houses being constructed as soon as we get the timber. You can see that it is March 13th. We're making really good timing. All right, look at that. 4. Perfect. Okay. So we need to focus on getting these houses. I'm going to get a road. So we do have a nice little spot here. I'm going to put a hunting camp. So let's get a road going up in that direction. Another thing they put in the game, and I read, is people are actually a lot less likely to startle the animals now. So that's really cool because before they were like, you know, migrating across the lands. And so they put a stop to that. And we hit the best thing in the world. So yes, we do not have any more development points. So yeah, that's cool, I guess. Would have really liked at least 1 more tier. Increased regional wealth from Burgage plots. I always go with Regensburg Guildman. It is the best. You just cannot beat it. Especially for this playthrough where we're trying to like tier it up. Okay? So we got it going on. We're going to get that house up for sure. I'm trying not to overload them with multiple tasks. There we go. We got our 6. So now it is time to make sure that people do not starve to death. That is my task as steward. Let's put it here. Hunting camp here. So what I'm thinking is, I have thoughts. I do think. Got the mushrooms over here. What we should do is get up the corpse, Armada and Brondos. So I'm thinking right here is a fantastic location for the Marlin Brondos. Now, the downside to using these versus my other designs, my historical Burgage plots, is they are vastly expensive. The advantage, though, is that one of these can produce roughly around 500 carrots, which is absurd. So you're going to have, quite frankly, the most insane production ever. So you can see I'm going corner to corner on the corpse pit. We're doing a little line here, doing a little dance. This is the easiest part of everything. We're deleting, we're going corner to corner, and we're deleting these. Now, the reason I do this is because it's quite frankly one of the better designs I've made, because you don't have it, no matter what orientation you have, pretty much however you build it, you always get a perfect snap. You just always get a perfect snap. I'll show you, just like that. So you have this massive backyard. It's just really good. And to expand it in the other direction, because I know you want to, you just take the corpse pit here. This is the new top. You come down one, and you go over one. And so this is where they kind of share. And you just kind of trace the bottom here. I've already kind of messed up, as you can see. We're just going to eyeball it. I can do that. I'm gifted. Just eyeball the length there. And we're just going to keep going down. So yes, this doesn't look very historically accurate. That's kind of why I've been doing the historical ones, but it has great pathfinding. It has great little areas for people to traipse around. I don't think anyone uses that word anymore. Anyway, it's cool, and people dig it. And I think between here, this looks really cool. Yeah, look at that, 20 stall locations, 13 stall locations. There we go, 20. I'm going to use this as our stall location. Oh, why do you hate me? Okay, yeah, well right there. Market stalls here. Okay, so that's pretty cool. We can have market stalls in between that area. All right, similar story. We're going to use the corpse pit here. Go up one, over one. And we're only going to do 3 of these. 1 for each type of veggie. Sorry, that was a long pause. Sometimes I forget words. Sometimes the words are hard. This one's a little weird looking. And they do need to be slightly perfect. But I have a good eye for this. Now, if you do it enough times. Okay, and there's the last one. How much wood do I have? 5 timber. So we can build one more. Now, you do have to, unfortunately, build them long from the big base up to get that awesome tweakage. And sometimes the roads, I've noticed in the game, like where this big berth is, they can cause issues. So unfortunately, I think I should have built it before I put the market stall up. So now I have to destroy this road because it's made this giant bulge and it's ruined my life. There we go. Perfect. And same thing over here. So you can see it's just awesome. Just awesome. And those are the only Burgage plots we're going to need. This is probably more than I'll ever need for farming. I think, let's see, we want to have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And we'll just alternate them. And we'll keep it simple. This is going to be a simple design. Now, luckily, the animals are there. So we actually have a really cool closed loop system here. You can see. This is about a perfect double Burgage plot, so there's plenty of room for housing, whatever we need there. Probably have some more stuff over here. This is beautiful. I think what we're going to do is have a road straight from here. A road straight from here. There we go. And let's have this road connect over here. Perfect. Hunting camps are free. Let's speed this up. So we're going to have plenty of housing. We definitely need that second ox. Nice. Now, does this ox have a potential? No, he's got a cool name. His name is Herman. Herman is an ox that you could hang out with. Flynn is the ox who, like, talks badly about you behind your back. And, like, people are laughing at you and you don't know why. It's because of this guy. I don't know what's wrong with me. Oh, boy. Okay, hunting camp up. Let's put an individual in there. Let's slap a dude out of the logging camp. We got 2 in the logs, 1 on the hunt. This is a good industry zone too. I might actually just kind of keep everything together. The wooden church can definitely go over there. We have 1 well. Okay, granary. So we have foods here. We have food up here. Let's put the granary right here. Now remember, market stalls don't really matter too much anymore, like their location, because everything is consumed from the granary first. So as long as you're good on your logistics of food and you're mass producing, you're really not ever going to use the market stalls. And maybe they'll change that one day, but the problem is they could never figure out how to get the logistics to work properly. They were always behind, and it made it impossible to hit 100%. All right, so granary, this is actually cool because of the granary here and then a storehouse here, and then we can have the trade post also here. All right, so granary here, storehouse here, and then trade post right here. And we're going to give the trade post a double road just to make sure no one gets stuck. I mean, that's actually part of this new patch. But I like to give a little bit of width because I've seen some things in my life. Dark things. And a woodcutter's lodge right about here. Yeah, not a far distance from all that. We'll get all these things going. We'll get our basics. Go. We have lots of space. Let's get this going. Now we should also get a road up to here. Slap this down triangular. And get ourselves up a foraging camp right at the edge of those mushrooms. There we go. Yeah, we should get those mushrooms, get 2 types of food. And so this is the big thing. How does combat work, right? How do all the new things? So we need to get a large population up quickly. We do have a bit of money. Now we are getting +1 regional wealth per Burgage plot. People have asked me, maybe I need to explain it because there are new viewers. Okay, so you get +1 regional wealth per month, okay, per Burgage plot. That's why I always pick this. That's why it's the best in my opinion. It also has the cause of upgrades. It's just very useful. You basically make every tier 1 Burgage plot useful. All right, we got ourselves a storehouse. Let's put a family in there. Get this granary up. This granary does not want to go up. Okay, we got a lot going on. Okay, woodcutter's lodge up. Place 1 family in there. Granary's almost up. Trading post is almost up. And we have enough space for 4 families currently. We doubled this one. You can see the second house is built here. This is the shack which they gather all food from. So when you're looking at this is why I like historical plots. The travel distance from here to here is quite vast. But you know what? When you get 4 families, it's fine. And it does great. And you just get so much land. All right, granary is up. We're going to place a family in there. I'll just wait for the next family to get here. Oh, we just got them. And then they can continue building out. Okay. So we have a little bit of everything. And we have pelts now that we can trade. So the very first... This is the... Ooh, they gave us pretty pictures. Look at that. Crafting materials. Fancy now. All right, so we're going to export all pelts. Currently, you can't use them to make boots or anything. They hate us. So the difference between having a trade route and not having a trade route is occasionally traveling merchants will come, and that's something else that they fixed in this, where traveling merchants weren't coming all the time. And they'll buy like up to 5 to 10 of a good. With the trade route, you get a dedicated horse that buys 50 at a time. Okay. We're just going to leave it. So you don't need to always buy a trade route. We're just going to export it like that. And then the next goal, I think, should be boards. So we'll keep the boards near the storehouse. I find it just does better. Transport the boards and just have an ox, bring the wood. And there's plenty of wood to be cut. Even over here. What are we doing? Okay, let's move the I don't like to have the logging camp and the woodcutter in the same region. We're gonna do this. We're gonna bring them over here. I'm gonna do a little V formation. That. V it up. There we go. There we go. Clean. And yeah, we'll move the hitching posts. So we have 41. This is the problem though with these big dogs, is they're very, very expensive. We're gonna need a lot of money. And we'll try to get them from the Banditos. We'll try to get them from trade. I'm going to put 1 family into the trade post for now. We're also going to want to get up 2 stables eventually. So we'll put 2 hitching posts here, and then upgrade them to stables. Okay, yeah, we're doing great. And we should probably upgrade each of these Burgage plots to doubles. I probably shouldn't have done that before the 29th, but that's okay. Just missed out on a family because I'm... Yeah, so that's actually a teachable moment right there. So it says I have 2 available living spaces. Well, the 2 available living spaces, if they're upgrading, historically, you don't get the family, because even though it says it's available, the coding says it's not. So it's something I do all the time. I did it on purpose to teach you. It was totally not a mistake. And I'm going to get a few more pitching posts over here. So we're running low on food. Let's put a family into mushroom gathering. Let's try to get as much mushrooms as possible. That's right, we have no builders. So let's see, how much firewood do we have? 10 months. We're going to pull out of the woodcutter's lodge. And some people like to do this, but you can increase the maintenance and do all that jazz. I don't do it simply because I don't like to. But it's not terrible. I just really don't want to go through my tools that quickly because I'm cheap. We have 29 pelts. Okay, so we have 23 pelts for sale. All right, we got the mushrooms coming. They got a lot of wood. I have to have them move now. We got 2 families over there, so it's going to just take a bit to move all the wood. But this is going to be better for us in the long run. There's a lot of good wood right here. And, okay, we're going to have this road kind of naturally funnel to the landscape here. Probably put some farms over here. There we go. So you can see how they were available, so there was room. And in the first year, you actually can get 2 people per month. There's a bonus on your immigration rate. So fresh settlement bonus gives us a +2 monthly migration. So we're getting 1 from approval and 1 from the fresh settlement, but that will go away, go down to 1. If you want to get +2, you have to have over an 80% approval. So like technically, if we can get over 80% approval, we could get 3 per month in the first year, which is actually really crazy when you think about it. All right, we're doing good. All right, so we're gonna get 1 on the saw pit, and I'm gonna take our limit to 10 timber and put a reserve of 50 planks. We'll try to get the church up here soon. We're at 18 to 36, not bad. Now we have some stone over here that I would really like to get, so we can upgrade the granary. Upgrading your granary, upgrading the storehouse, that gives you your people more carts to use. You only start, I think, with like 2 carts, I think it gives you like 4 or something. All right, we're gonna get up a stone gatherer right here. And once we get a few boards, we can get these vegetable gardens up. So like, look how big these are. They're huge. Ugh. We got a little bit of, you know, usually they look like this. So if you do kind of mess up, and that's an unfortunate thing, you can lose a little bit of it. But you know what? They're still going to produce a lot. But this is what they should normally look like. This is good. This one is a little bad. We'll do beetroots there. And let's get these fields up. Okay, so we can do beetroots at 98 on one of these. I'm going to do it on the bad one. So they're all 98, 235, and 157 for carrots. That's actually really not that bad when you think about how productive these are. So we'll get some beetroots going. And we'll get some stone gathering going. Okay, yeah, you can see there's a lot. So the oxen are failing us. Let's get up these guys over here to stables. Let's upgrade as fast as possible the storehouse, because we're going to run out of storage very quickly. On the trade post, what we also want to do is start importing tools up to 5, so we just always have tools. All right, we'll get that storehouse upgrade. Hunting camp's going strong. Coming down here, our marketplace is doing decently enough. Also having so there are 2 things that people travel for: firewood out of a storehouse and water. So actually having your storehouse centrally located does have a logistical benefit that they'll go there for firewood. I have to watch. Like, they just don't go to market stalls ever. And food is consumed automatically from granaries. They don't actually have to physically touch the food. It's just magic. It didn't always used to work like that, but they found out that they just couldn't get the logistics of the marketplace to work, and it was a huge headache. So I actually really appreciate the new system. Even though it's a little bit more magical, it's just more practical. It has less overhead. You know, when you have that much pathfinding, you know, trying to get to all the stalls and having thousands of people, like, it really is a big deal. And I think we just got hit with the drought. What a time to be alive. Okay, so in the background, I'm going to come over here and set these up. So we're going to go and set to 3. So here is going to be wheat and barley. So we're going to do 2 wheat and barley and 1 rye and barley with 1 year to fallow. Okay, just like that. Now, if you were to do rye, barley, wheat, your fertility rates will go down to 0. So don't be me. And we're just going to boot it out. So wheat, in my opinion, is more important than rye. We're just going to do rye for the benefit of having multiple food types. So we'll do 2 wheat and then 1 with rye, barley. I already messed up. There we go. Okay, so that's all we're doing here. Okay, and then we have an extra 3. So I'm honestly just going to do barley on these as a helper. And you can see this is great barley land, 78%. Okay, we're not going to do anything with it. I just wanted to get it set up while I had this downtime. And look at, just look how much, just look. So my historical plots, I would go over how one would be 6 across and 5 across. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 across there. That's the smaller one, okay? I want you to put that into perspective. This right here is more than about, yeah, it's about twice as much space as those historical plots. Then you have this biggie. So when you look at the cost, it's actually great value. But you need at least 3. So here's a rule of thumb is 1 family per 0.25 of the veggie. Apples, you can go about twice as big. I say 0.5 per family on apples and all that. So 0.25 is what we're looking for. So this is about 1 Morgan worth of land. It's a little under, so 4 families is about right. You could get away with 3 for sure. 3 families for sure. But just like, look how much, yeah, you'll see. Once you see my yields, you'll be like, whoa. And that's why I literally have not been able to build something better than this in terms of just how well it works. Mainly because some of my previous designs, it took forever to snap them in place. Like you had to play with them over and over again. This one, without fail, always gets the exact same cut. So like it's just very user friendly for that reason. Okay, it's Power Ranger time. So this is the moment of truth, is just witnessing how movement works in the game. You can see that they're moving around. So let's just do a little simple test, right? The pathfinding test is they won't go in an area that get them stuck now. I'm going to have them run just for a little bit. We're going to speed it up. That is actually a little bit cleaner. Not going to lie. So, I mean, the pathfinding has been completely reworked. I forget how many iterations. I think he said something like they had like 11 different things, and they had to balance out like, you know, CPU usage and like game usage and find a system that wasn't going to be taxing on the systems. But whoa. Right as I say, they optimized this to not be taxing, and it's like rubber banding. Holy cow. Okay, well, and I guarantee you, yeah, look at that. Fast mode. Whoa. Okay, well, that wasn't pretty to watch, but that's all right. It's not here to be pretty, it's here to be functional, right? So we're gonna do my favorite thing in the world, looking from Banditos to crush. For all I know, this is like a Robin Hood type situation. I'm the bad guy. I don't know what's going on here. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna rest up. We're gonna stay true to the old ways. Stand your ground. That's kind of cool. You see that? How they made them smaller until you click on them. They made some interesting decisions. We're gonna do a 2x2 formation. Stand your ground to absorb charge damage. That's why we go into stand your ground. Defense is doubled, and then you go out of it as soon as you get there. The big old shield you got. This shield wall. This is for blocking missiles. Even though they have another one for blocking missiles, shield wall, from my testing, doesn't tend to do well. All right, they're off on an adventure. So all the men are gone. That kind of sucks because now our productions are down. That's all right. We'll get over it. And let's look. So carrots is 157. Oh, crap. I did beetroots on the good one. Okay, we'll do cabbage here. Carrots over here. Yeah, 157. I think we'll have that in no time. We're making a little cash here. And we're starting to sell pelts. We've sold all the pelts. We're not pulling in any firewood right now, so let's do that again. Okay, so we're gonna trade firewood. Anything over 100. Yeah, the new system is actually a little weird. It grows and contracts. It looks like trade has been largely left untouched. All right, and did we get? Yeah, we got the stone gatherer going. So let's upgrade the granary. It'll give us lower spoilage rates. Got all this going. This is great. All right. We want to wait until we're completely full, so our effectiveness is as high as possible. That way we can properly gauge whether or not... So this, I mean, this is the moment of truth, is how has pathfinding and how has, you know, unit management impacted combat? And will that lead to less or more, you know, fatalities in your forces? I don't know. Those are the questions. Oh, crap. We still don't have enough. Okay. Nope. Nope. They saw me. Cool. We're going to let them wear themselves out. I think they're just strutting. So let's do this. Oh, and here's a traveling merchant. If you're wondering what they look like. They look like this weirdo. They basically look like any mystic hobo in like a popular city. You know, they got a cool walking stick. He's probably got some good stories. He's got a basket on his back. Oh boy. Someone's already engaged over there. All right, so they're in the woods. To quote Shane. Here they come. All right, so let's watch them. They're strutting. They definitely are strutting. Yeah, I like it. They do look intimidating. I admire how calm they are in the face of like certain death, because they're about to get whomped. There are gents in the back. We're doing our best to intimidate them. We're yelling at them. Okay. Here they come. Please. Yeah, here they come charging in. Yeah, so units are supposed to mesh together, so now we sally out. Okay, I'm gonna go into cinematic view so we can watch this. You can see some of the units are pushing within the sphere. So they are definitely interacting. This is actually really nice. Oh, nice. You see that death? Oh, man, that was cool. Sorry. That was a good one. I like it. I like what they've done. These guys are, like, cheerleading back here. That would probably be me. Like, you get him, Jim. I'm doing my part back here with my club. I'm being intimidated. He's a smart man. He's probably the smartest man out of all of them. And he's probably going to start running here soon. Yeah, these three dudes are yelling at... Oh, no, he got some balls. Look at that. Nope. Nope. No, he turned her around. Oh, dude, that guy just... Oh, no, he got one of my guys. He just negging him. Do you see that guy with a freaking double? He's nuts. Okay. We lost 3 dudes. So normally I would not have lost more than, like, I don't know. I'm going to have to do more testing. But now, dang, dude, did you see the guy with the double hand? Maybe they made Bandits a little bit better. I mean, this has been needed, but that was cool. That was a ruthless battle. I liked that. That felt a little bit more real to me than before, where they would just kind of like, I don't know, kiss. I never really watched them too closely after a while. They just didn't seem to be, you know, doing much. Okay, we got some money. Let's send it back home. We got 197. That's our carrot money right there. Okay, so we're gonna run back. That was brutal. I've never lost 3 people before. That was brutal. All right, we have enough money for carrots. And enough money for another ox. Beautiful. We need that 3rd ox. So we have carrots, we have all the good stuff. It's November. I'm gonna pull the family off of mushrooms. Or rather, I have the family over here. We'll continue to hunt with the 1 hunting camp. We're in really good shape. We have 6 months worth of food. 5 in fuel. We got our guy back out there gathering again. We're gonna build ourselves an additional logging camp. 2 of them for storage. You only use tools if they have an individual inside, but they're just sitting here doing nothing, so we should just be stockpiling. And let's get hitching posts all around. Yeah, make that upgrade. Look at them over here, man. We're getting a, yeah, so you get this is the crazy, okay, so this is the crazy thing. This is where I think like the Flexo Marlin Brondo Deluxe New Hampshire, I don't know what you want to call it. This is where I think it's a bit silly. You get 4 yields of beetroots a year. So this is like too much it's like too much beetroots, to be quite honest. Okay, now we have like, it's gonna get weird. There we go. Get a little bit of an outing here. We're making cash. We got our men back. in somewhat one piece. And they're kind of rubber banding there. Okay. Disband. Get them back to work. I'm sure some of them are sad, but they'll get over it. They'll get new husbands. And they'll forget all about them. As is the way. So now it's time to get Frontier Jesus. Okay. We have everything we need. I'm thinking we put the church... Honestly, let's put the church out over here. Angle that. Connect it vertically here. And we got to make it pretty. Honestly, if they would have added one new decoration, I would have been a little bit more praising of this. Like, please, for the love of God, get me more decorations. We're gonna get some shrines out here, though. Okay, there we got some religious areas. We got a church going up. Now the next thing we need is just is like dialing it in. This is gonna be super easy. I'm literally just gonna wing it. I found with the apple orchards and everything, just make 3 squares that are really big, like this, and you're good. These are gonna be our apple orchards. We should align it though with the road system. There we go. They're going to be expensive and they're going to yield crazy amounts. These are huge. They're beautiful. And we're going to put road around it. There we go. A little off. That's okay. We can do that. But yeah, it's beautiful. Take it in. We'll get these up. We just need to get cabbages going. And they got a good start on those carrots, but not enough. And food-wise, we still have 31 beetroots, 26 mushrooms. Wow, that's crazy. We still have mushrooms. A little bit of small game. We're doing great. If we come over and we look at our marketplace, we're hitting 100, 100. I want to get to tier 2 now so we can start making bows. So yeah, these are okay spots for industry because we have Storehouse over here. To be quite honest though, part of me wants to get up a bunch of little houses here. I'm gonna do it. I mean, we got the money. Let's do it. We got, like, we're gonna have so much food. We'll be able to expand quickly. So we're gonna get all these houses up too. And they'll most likely do pigs or pork. Get a little bit of booze production going. But our pigs are never gonna go above tier 1 with the new barley system. All right, so we're growing pretty darn fast. We got, I'd say, decent trade. Let's get these orchards up to kind of get an idea how much money we're talking here. Let's upgrade this well. All right, stone gather. We have 20 left, okay. And we also want to get up the manor. Where do I want to get the manor up? Let's get it up in the north. We're not going to be building out anything fancy in this one. Just basic manor pathway like that. All right, the next thing I'd like to do, and I think we're actually going to do it right here. Okay, we're going to do the sheep right here. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, yeah, sheep farm right here. Row it out. And I've explained this before. You only need 30 sheep to hit your maximum rate, productivity, reproduction, productivity. And so that's like 17, and I'll show you the total here in a second. 20 right there. Okay, so that's gonna give us enough room for 62, and it's beautiful. That's perfect. So sheep farm there, and we'll need a weaver over here. Any of these can be a tailor. Okay, so we're gonna upgrade a few of these. We're gonna get this one up. We're gonna get the Fletcher coming. Track the movement. We got 365 days, so we need to get some archers going. And let's watch. Yeah, you can see if we slow down just actually nice to be in faster mode so you can see the pathfinding. It does kind of feel a little bit more fluid. I do notice people are moving around a little bit more naturally. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. It has a vibe, that's for sure. I think we're doing great. We're going to order another ox. We're also going to get a sheep trader. Livestock trade post over here. We'll delete it eventually. We got to make this thicker over here just by spamming roads. I'm pretty sure that it could cause issues. Like in hindsight, thinking back to a few gameplays, I'm like, I wonder if this like made my game a little bit weirder, right? Look at all these roads. I wonder if it's like calculating pathfinding on all of them. But whatever. It looks cool. That's all that's important. Hopefully my 9950 can handle it a bit better. But honestly, you hit a point where it's not even your hardware, you know, like your computer. Sometimes the game it hits its limitations. All right, we're going to upgrade all these Burgage plots here too. Tier 2 to increase their pantry size. Same with these guys down here. Get them all to tier 2. Double them up. Got a lot of space for people to move in. Oh no. Enemy spotted. Okay, so there's a bandito camp. Why is he coming out? There must be a lord. We need to get the monies. I needs the monies. Let's sally out real quick. Let's run. We're gonna try to steal the money here. Unless they're attack. I don't even know what's going on half the time. This has been happening a lot more since like a patch ago. Yeah, he's right there. Darn it. Okay, well, we still might be able to... Oh, he got the other one? Darn. Yeah, I'm not going to get there in time. Ugh. Okay, well, that's my fault, but whatever. I'll move on. Oh, nope. Opportunity. I might not make it now. I shouldn't have sent them back. I screwed myself twice. There's a big old bandito. My guys are just so freaking slow, man. They're out of stamina. I don't think I'm going to make it in time, even if I would have. Dang, dude, they came out with a whole army. Well, we can at least watch their forces kind of traipse around. I mean, here they come charging in right there. Yeah, you can see that. Look how they mesh together now. That's like a big old sandwich of units. That's crazy. Come on, guys. Did they get stuck? Oh, they completely ran out of energy. Too fatigued to run. Oh, dang, dude. They never had that issue before. I mean, they would get fatigued, but they would never get that slow. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have a snowball chance in hell of getting there in time. Okay. That's fine. That's interesting, though. Oh, now they have enough energy to run. I see how it is. When it doesn't matter. Alright, well, they just got a bunch of influence. That sucks. We got Moxie. We got that going for us. Let's increase the priority over here. Alright, they're back. Disband. Alright, so what I would like to do now that I've disappointed myself is try to get some sheep. Try to get that going. Let's just make sure we're not in a weird zone. I know we're not, but the game hates me sometimes. Elevation. Yeah, so elevation. You see these elevated areas in white. Remember, if you have sheep in those areas, they will perish. Not all of them at once. It's like one here and there. It just becomes really hard to maintain. And let's go back to getting mushrooms over here. And let's get an herb garden. People do get sick. And if they are sick, they do stop working. Herbs help with that. That was implemented just a little bit ago. Hunting camp's going strong. We could probably get 2 people in the hunting camp, but I don't think it's necessary. I think we're doing great. Let's come down. Let's place a second family into the large storehouse and a second family into the large granary. Help movement of goods. Sheep boy is here. Let's get him going. I'll start ordering sheep here. Okay. So we need to get all these backyards with the orchards. And let's get a Fletcher right here. Boyer's workshop. And we'll get a couple more tier 2s. Order another ox. We got a lot of big... Manor's definitely taking a lot of work away from people. They tend to focus on the manor. Let's hyper-focus on the livestock trader. I want to get that rolling. I think we're doing okay. Trade might be something I want to start to focus on, but... outside of firewood... Eh. Oh yeah, look at that. Get a road into here. Kind of like having the roads around it. Makes it look fancy. Let's have a corner road lining up with all this. There we go. Here's our market hub. Yeah, this is looking sharp. I like it. It's coming along very well. We could probably get some pigs in the back here. Some of this money, though, we should probably try to get quints. 216, 648, 432. Yeah, that's going to cost a pretty penny, but you yield so much. Cabbage is 235. The thing is we can start selling like carrots like crazy. Once we get a good yield, and honestly, once we get to tier 3, when we get that extra family in there. All right, here's our gentleman. Let's get war bows capped at 42. Fine, why not? And let's get ourselves an archer unit. And the Bowyer's workshop in the back is pretty cool. I like the fact that they added this a while back, where everyone had like a custom little background shop. It really adds to the aesthetics. It's neat. You walk by and you can see everyone working here. Look how many freaking carrots they planted, though. Holy cow. All right, this is where I'm going to break the bank. We're not going to order much. We're going to order 4 sheep, and we're just going to do it to get the ball rolling. We're at 8 months of food, 8 months of fuel. Not bad. Yeah, things are actually looking up for us. This is going swimmingly. Oh, yeah. Beetroot time. But you can just see how much work that is. You really do just need those extra families. So we're going to have to figure out how to get booze, a lot of stuff going. Let's start making that. So a lot of the farming's over here. We're going to have another granary. Probably like right here. We'll have another granary. I think that ale production should be centered around here. So we're going to need a house for making ale. I'm going to put it right here. It'll be a double burgage plot. That's fine. We're going to put a road through it right there. Then we're going to have the tavern. So people need to be able to get here. Let's just have the tavern right here. Line it up. That. There we go. Yeah, that's not too far of a jaunt. Let's put the malt house right here. Should work out just fine. They have a little bit of a roll from here to there, but that's okay. We'll do this. Give it a little shortcut. There we go. All right, upgrade that to a bigger tavern. Now you don't have to expand this plot, but it's just nice to have the option. Okay, manor is up. We can start taxing. We really don't have a whole lot of money to tax, so we're just going to hold off. I think it's important we get quinces going ASAP. That's going to be our next goal. And we got 1 sheep. But we'll start getting wool from this and start building for tailoring. Malt house almost up. And I'm thinking carrots will be something we trade. Carrots are honestly one of the most broken trade items in this game. They go for 3 a pop, which is like as much as a small shield. I've made this distinction. It's actually more than a small shield. So 1 thing of carrots, which is a month's worth of food. Basically, if you want to be honest, a month's worth of food for 1 family is worth more than a shield. I guess that makes sense. But when you look at how much it takes to produce, I'm producing 500 carrots. I don't have a farm plot producing 500 shields. You know what I mean? So yeah, carrots are where the money's at. And look, they don't even have enough manpower right now to fully plant everything. They're still suffering. But they're getting a lot of it. They're getting a lot of this plowed out. All right, 228. Quinces are a go. And it takes 2 years for these to reach maturity, and we'll need every one of them. But you can see with how movement is, it's really easy to get to the granary from here. Got ourselves a bandito camp. Oh, it's right there too. Okay, we're going to hit that bandito camp. Get our men out. All right, make sure they are not running. Ooh, this is kind of a march to our death right here. Yeah, I mean, the pathfinding does seem to be a little bit better. Alright, let's try to keep in formation. 2 tiles thick. Stand your ground. Move out. And keep formation at all. Here's the problem. Oh, they're coming too. I don't want them to steal it. We got to get to the top of this hill and try to stay in a clearing. They might actually try to steal my loot. Oh, they're going to get there before me. Oh, there's that. So here are the Banditos. Oh, they're gonna come in through the forest. Oh crap, they're coming for me. I might lose. I'll get the kill, but I might lose the loot. All right, let's do this. Let's wait for them. Here they come. All right, got our archers in the back. Let's see how much damage these guys do now. Not much. Keep our guys clustered up here. All right, let's maneuver to the side and run. All right, yeah, I do think they're clumping a little bit better. We got our guys here. All right, and shoot at will. Ooh, spread out makes soldiers harder to hit. That's a new one. Well, let's get them. There we go. All right, we're still in defensive mode. Let's push forward. All right, that was easy. Pause. Now we have to run and take the camp. I think they're gonna try to steal it from me. Oh, we just got it. They're in the forest right there. All right, perfect. Yeah, so much better when you have extra units to help defend. All right, let's disband, get these guys back to work. There's a lot of people not working too. All right, cabbage should be next. All right, 121 carrots. Let's disband. I'm gonna start trading carrots. I actually am gonna buy the export route. And we're gonna trade anything over 100 carrots from now until ever. All right, and this is gonna be an insane amount of trees. They're digging it up right now. Oh, they got their work cut out for them. We're gonna need to get them to tier 3. Okay. So I think we need more farm workers. I'm gonna get more houses. We're going to order a horse and assign livestock to the trade post. I'm gonna come over here. Let's see. Yeah, windmill right here. Not enough goods, of course. You guys are slacking over here. Let's get 3 workers in the logging camp. I'm not really interested in a forester quite yet, but it probably should be. It looks like we got the sheep, so we no longer need this. I'm just gonna let them kind of naturally develop over here. 3 sheep is enough, or 4 sheep is enough for me right now. They'll start to replicate. Okay, that will help, but we're gonna push pretty hard into farming, actually I feel kind of dumb. Maybe I should have, I think we need to buy more sheep. That was poor judgment. I'll get it back up. Yeah, I'm realizing now I'm gonna need a little bit more than this. We need probably like 12. And we don't have enough tools, even though, oh gosh, I didn't put it. The heck? I could have sworn I did, my bad. Because I had 5 and I set it to import with 5 on. All right, whatever. Weird. And make sure you set your import. All right, cabbage up. It's another food for us. All the trees have been planted. Livestock trader, go. We're gonna boot this up to 12. I think we're gonna get into charcoal production. Not necessarily for trade, but honestly, maybe we should try to sell charcoal. It's pretty good. We can get a forester's hut up over here helping out. And we should probably get a forester's hut up over here as well. All right, I'm thinking I'm gonna get animal pens over here. These will be piggies eventually, but we might as well spend while we have it. Oh, we have no money anymore. All right, we got the tools. That was yeah, that was silly. I should have looked. I noticed that earlier and I just wasn't paying attention because I thought things were working as they're supposed to. All right, piggy, 25. Let's get one pig going. Maybe 14. Yeah, 14 it is. Okay, yeah, let's get charcoal production going. Export any charcoal over 50. We'll have to buy a route for it. And we're already out of tools again. All right, let's think about a couple more trade items. Beetroots. Anything over 100. All right, a little bit of time has passed. Just been kind of staring into the void. We're getting real close. We got 4 more spaces. Let's get up the farming plots now. I mean, we have the plots. Let's get the farmhouses up. I'm going to get them up right here and here. Okay, so here's the dealio. So basically 2 will be active at any given year with 1 off. So this is 2, this is 2, this is 2, so that's 6. And this is 1, so that's 7, okay? So if we want this to run really smooth, we want 6 ox carts going. That's what I'm getting at. 1 per mortgage, like 1 per plot. It'll just go so much faster. That way everything can get seeded. We're gonna get 6 houses out here, farmhouses. And we're gonna need, in my opinion, quite a bit of oxes. So I'm gonna get 1 stable behind each of these. We're broke as can be. We did get the sheep. I think we're done with this. We'll get a butcher up at some point for the meat. Yeah, we got, let's see, 9 sheep, 4 lambs. Oh, here they come. Here are the raiders. Well, we're gonna find out. Okay. The raiders are approaching from over here. So we should try to use our terrain to our advantage. I think right here, quite honestly, we got the wedges, right? I say we come all the way to the back over here and we try to fight this way. So we're gonna move our men, and this is kind of a testament, right? They aren't cluttering up. That's nice. They are moving a little bit more fluid. Okay, so definitely stand your ground. What we'll do is we'll shift. We'll pull the archers back over here and let them shoot from the side. Quite honestly, if we pull back just a little bit more, I say we fight like this with side shots. We try to get this. Let's see what we can do here. Maybe I can get these guys involved too. Here we go. Stand our ground. Get these guys out a little bit more. Stand your ground. Perfect. And we'll try to get some little side shots here. We gotta be careful because they will try to like go around and attack these units. But let's see if we can do this. All right, I'm only seeing two units. Sometimes there's 3. I think the first wave's 2. But look how big these... You can't not notice these giant fields, man. Okay, cool. They took the bait. They took the bait. So we're going to go into shoot at will. You get inaccurate at long range, but they're going to be real close here soon. Here we go. Let's see if this works. Those are some nice shots. They're not getting any of them. Perfect. All right, so this is a problem. Let's try to line up like this. See if we can get in. Oh, there. Yeah, the pathfinding is absolutely not working very well. There we go, finally. They get the shot off and then they move. Cool. All right, there we go. Come on, guys. They're getting off some of the shots. All right, so what we need to do is back up, which is dangerous. Back up so we can get those shots in. Okay, we got one unit there. All right, we're just gonna push forward now. There we go, fish in a barrel. Yeah, they're getting mowed down. Perfect. I'm actually gonna put these guys on the defensive here. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, now everybody can charge forward. These guys can charge forward. And let's speed this up. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. We did all right. No real casualties. Let's get back to work. Well, I mean, they had some casualties. There's a few of them. Everyone just goes about as normal afterward. They're just like, yep, that's peasant life for you. The dead dude on your field. I mean, at least try to sell his stuff, dude. He's got a nice little club, some clothes. You can sell his shoes, maybe. I'd be over there, man, like taking all the gold off him. All right, we got 53. Perfection. Let's get an ox. Double these to stables. And we're gonna need 6 ox just for the farm fields. Okay, we gotta get this situation. Now, I've talked about this in the past. The bigger you make this, keep in mind they walk from end to end randomly planting trees. The smaller you make this, the more trees you're actually gonna plant in a shorter period of time. So we're gonna do this big of an area. We're gonna keep it small. And you actually really don't need to make these big. And same thing over, actually, we don't need to do this one, but I am going to get the area. The area only needs to be about this big. And you don't need to go big with them. Oh, dude, Stonequoter's been there forever. All right, get rid of him. All right, so I have all these farm families. A couple things that we need to do is get up this. I'm going to get it up right here, 80%, 95. There we go. And get this to tier 2. So we can become a brewer. That is a lot of trees. That's awesome. Okay, we have enough money to buy the trade route for charcoal. And we're going to trade anything over, let's say, 60. That is why I got the Forester going over here, because we are going through this quick. I got one person here, 2 people here. That should generate a little bit of money for us. Oh, there is a Bandito camp right over there. Okay. We're going to go get that Bandito camp, because it's got some money. Oh, dude, they're already charging out at me from all the way over down here. Crap. All right, we got to get in position. Well, that was weird. Oh, the AI Lord is in the tree line. Crap. Run! All right, I'm going to try to get that, but they're already like, yeah, they got... Dang, man. They're on that. They're making their move while I was fighting those bandits. That sucks. And we missed out. All right, Forester there. Forester here. Okay, I guess I did get them up. That's fine. We still have 10 slots. All right. So plowing stations on all. And we need to continue to buy ox. We're in a pretty good spot. All right, so we're selling carrots, selling beetroots, selling coal, selling pelts, all the natural stuff. We can kind of even just come to our records. Coming soon, guys. Coming soon, please. Yeah, that's all time. So let's do last 365 days. We've only made 130 because the tools. We made a lot on carrots, and the sheep hurt us. Yeah, the sheep hurt us a bit, but we're not going to do that anymore. And actually, we're going to start probably exporting clothing at some point. So the sheep really do pay for themselves in the long run. I want a road from the stables. Do this. Yeah, there we go. All right, well down there. Let's get a well over here. This is much closer to a lot of people. Nice. We can put a well over here as well. We'll do that. Let's get a few of these up. Okay, so we're pretty much ready. We just don't have enough. Because I typically like to assign the livestock. We could use our livestock trader, or we destroyed it, to order the ox for us in the background. But we just don't really have a lot of money. I like to kind of control that, Sometimes you want to save your money and you don't want that stuff just automatically buying stuff in the background. We do need a couple more tier 2. So that's a tier 2 house there. That's a tier 2 house. Let's get 2 more. Or let's do 3. Let's just do this whole row right here. All right, we're gonna get a bunch of pigs just because I feel like it. We don't need it technically, but it's good to have more meat. Wow, 218. Let's get 1 more in the trade post. It's crazy. We got a lot of coal for sale. We have 7 oxen right now. We have 1 out of 0 horses. So like the horse hasn't gotten here yet. It's crazy. I've had this issue before, man. Oh, he's out. Never mind. He's out with a rider. Okay, cool. I was like, did it glitch out? I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay, so now we just kind of want to build everything up, get our apples, get everything going. Right now we're kind of bottlenecked by the ox situation. So let's go ahead and I know I've deleted it a billion times. I just hate the way it looks. You know what I mean? I guess maybe we should just give it a more permanent housing. Let's get the livestock trader up right over here on the edge of town. There we go. Okay, we got all 3 veggies. We're working on our fruits. We're starting to get some money. So apples are next, 432. What's crazy is we do actually have quite a bit of sheep. We could probably get the wool making. I mean, we actually need to do these things. And we should probably just preemptively get the tailor's workshop up. Because we should have, 43 wool. I mean, it's going to start pouring in now. And let's watch and make sure the logistics work. So this is actually what this is all about. So the reason I use this design is if you make it too big, he has to walk a long way to get the wool, pick it up, get back to it. So now he'll pick it up and walk straight in. Now, if this were wider, he would circle on the road, follow the road, and come back in. So the tighter you can make it, the better, the more efficient. You can get away with 1 worker instead of 2. That's why I like this design. Because you can see it's a lot of sheep. I'll actually probably have to go to 2 if we hit something like 50 sheep. At 30 sheep, though, he can typically keep up with it. But you can see it's a very manual process of gathering the wool. I don't know how he shaves so quickly, but he has secrets. All right, so we got a good thing going on down there. Okay, so we got someone in the livestock trade post. So now we're going to import until we have like 16 oxen. It's starting to re-import sheep. We're not going to do that. Now we can leave it alone. I'm still going to manually order ox just to speed up the process if I can. Okay, coal production's going strong. Got lots of coal. Making a good profit off that. So you can see we have yarn at the wazoo. Now when you build your tailor, come back down and just make sure it didn't default to linen. So it did. So I switched it over to yarn. That's going to give us the clothing. So our next push is into tier 3. The quinces will help. We're going to need a lot of stuff. Going to need an additional granary down here. It's just going to do bread. Actually, hold up. Bad spot for it, as you can see, because all the buildings are right here, including the windmill. So let's place it right here. You need a tier 3 building to do the bakers, which honestly we're going to want to do. So let's get 2 buildings, not doubles. Let's just get 2 singles right here for both breads. Nice, efficiency went up, so it's probably like closer to 100 now. Get a road around this area real quick. Okay, and yeah, let's get the piggies and all of this. We're gonna want a lot of meat at the later tiers. You need 2 types of meat. So we'll have the mutton, we'll have the pig, and we'll have the animals. And then between the 3, we should have enough to fulfill 2 types for everybody. Oof, money's going down a little bit. But yeah, the village is coming along pretty nicely right now. You can see it's doing well. Okay, we have plenty of fuel, plenty of food. 13 months of food, 19 months of fuel. Very good. All right, so there's actually another thing I want to do. I want to get a blacksmith up. We're going to do that. And part of the perk that we got, Regensburg Guildman, it allows us to import the iron slab, so we don't even have to do ore. It's the same cost. So let's just make sure that that's still true. You never know. They always change things. Like every video game I've ever played changes stuff without telling you. So it's 11 for the ore and 11 for the slab still. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to import up to 20 slabs. We're going to buy that trade route. Actually, hold on. We got to get those apples started. I just realized I'm getting ahead of myself. Boy. You know what? Screw it. We'll get the apples up later. Okay, we're going to import iron slabs. And we're going to make iron parts. And then over in the bowyer's workshop, we're going to start making crossbows. Get rid of our archers. Get crossbowmen. It's also cool as we can switch from spears to double halberds. And we don't need... I don't like doing the joiner's workshop because I hate... Like, once I made all my shields, I have nothing to do with that guy. You could sell shields, but they're just really not a good... That's just not really a good deal. I prefer to set him to making, like, tools. I'll save 2 a pop on tools. You know what I mean? Just, like, something a little bit more long-term. Right. And, yeah, we need to get these guys to tier 3. The Lord is expanding, but with crossbowmen, we'll never have to worry about a darn thing. Now, we have 11 oxen. And to be quite honest... I think with 12, we're gonna be in good shape. So that's gonna allow me to start over here. So we're gonna assign the livestock. So these are always working at peak efficiency because we cannot plant until everything is plowed. You do not want any kind of issues. Okay. So I believe I said there's 4 sections. So 6 and 7. So we're gonna need probably around 8 families. So we're going to go to 8 families here. That gives us 1 free. We got the windmill. We got the granary here. Let's upgrade that. And we'll also want to get up a communal oven across the street. Efficiency up. Not bad. Oh, wow. We got more money. Here we go. Get the apples up. Talk about having your cake and eating it too. So we'll keep the tool import at 10. Keep our exports going. Charcoal's just not moving that fast. I'm going to say anything over 100 now. Just make sure we don't sell all our fuel too quickly. Shoes are still pretty awesome. Yep, so you can see them. Look at them go. And over here, they're trying to do it by hand. The first, you know, all the fields have to be plowed first, right? After that, fallow will become easy. But these long, even these 1.5s, these are really actually efficient. And we're going to get really good yields. The only thing that's inefficient is how far they have to travel to farm everything. But the way that the farm plots work, so let me kind of explain it, is everything pools to the center of the plot. So when they're harvesting, it like pools in the center. And then the ox can be used to actually haul that back. That's a second advantage you may not know. So it's kind of obnoxious because this is actually how it was done historically, right? But it's obnoxious because you have to continuously do this to get the mechanics to work right. But if you don't use ox, you can build any shape you want and just rely on people to plow. And when you have like 30, 40 extra people, it's not really a big deal. It's actually kind of nice, to be honest, to not think about these things. But the other added advantage of the ox is that, yeah, it can cart away a ton of goods. And I don't know if they ever they were also supposed to implement ox with carts now. It is, as of the last patch, not this beta, the last patch, it is working, but it's invisible. Like, they don't have the animations. So they're working on giving them little carts so you can actually see them carting away the massive amount of farming goods. All right, we're going to go to 2 people in the logging camp. I think 3 logging camps is probably enough storage. Forester is doing its magic. Let's boot it up just a little bit. There we go. Have it do this area. Okay, so we're hitting max, but once we hit tier 3, things are going to go our way. And we'll find out if this is enough people. We're going to have a really bad harvest our first year. So we have 1 extra barley. And yeah, every year we should have 2 of each. So this is working out perfect. And they're getting them apples out. I think I need to find some places where I can wind down. We have 54 clothing, so we should be hitting... Oof. Let's do one here. And one in the large storehouse. So this is going to be an issue. I think we just need a few more people. I'm going to put some houses right here. There we go, 4 more. We just really need the families. It sucks because at tier 3 we'll get a lot of families, right? But to be fair, we're gonna kind of play by the rules. And by the rules I mean like you don't want to go above tier 1 now because of alcohol consumption. So unfortunately we are producing a lot. But so realistically I want to see if we can do a whole village still. That would be a good test. Okay. So I'm going to turn this person off. I think we have more than enough oxen. We have 6 free, and I just ordered another one. Now, if we were to go into honey, it is pretty good for trade. We can get another 10% boost on all of our farming, which is, I mean, pretty awesome. But I don't like doing it. Like 5 honeys for a 10% increase is a lot, but to be honest, I think the food is spoiling faster than I can sell or consume it. You get my drift? So I don't really know if it's worth it in this situation. Now, if we look at resources, we can come over here and we can see for the past 12 months we've produced 309 cabbage, 291 carrots, 182 beetroots. We don't have our full yields yet because we don't have 3 and 4 families. We're not hitting the peak. But you can see already that these plots are stupid powerful. That is a lot. And we're selling quite a bit of the food. If we come over to our trade, you can see we have a net of 1,000 from exports. So even with buying all the iron, the ox, we're making a lot from coal. Coal has always been very lucrative. We're making an insane amount from carrots and a good amount from pelts. Even buying the sheep, even buying everything, we're still up quite a bit. From quite honestly, a very basic economy. I'm not even selling the clothing yet, and I'm also not even selling everything that I possibly could be. So the logistical system, though, does seem to be a little... These are the things that like just kind of take time to know, like how the game felt before to now. Like, does it feel like things are selling faster? So they did a lot. They didn't change the trading system, but they did update and try to bug fix a lot of the issues with traveling merchants and all these other mechanics of people traveling. So it very well could be that there were like traders getting stuck on certain areas, and I've seen it, you know, carts getting stuck in certain areas. So there could be some improvements to trade just because of those mechanics, that it could be a little bit more fluid. So I'm hoping that that's true. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have a really bad wow, there's actually not a bad yield at all. We're gonna have 400. Whoa. Okay, we didn't get it all planted, or that's okay. It doesn't look like we got it all planted. First plows are always a little bad, but you know what? I'm okay with that. We'll put more people out here eventually. Okay, so that tells me a couple things. One, we need to get the windmill going. We need to get the oven going. We need to get the malt house going. We're going to lose a family here. We have no one on construction. I'm just going to wait for people to come in. Let's place the logging camp down to 1 family. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of waste, which kind of sucks. It's nice when you have some waste because you can start pulling away. And yeah, we got 2 people collecting firewood. We are selling firewood, and I could discontinue that, but I really like the money. We got the foresters going strong. I think that's important. No, don't worry because on the woodcutter, it's automatic protect resource area. They will not take resources or trees that will impact the mushroom or wild animal yields. I mean, that's what it's supposedly. All right. It's been working so far in all my playthroughs, from my perspective. So we'll go with it. All right, cool. We just got a bunch of new families. We're over 83%, which means we're getting +1 passive income from level 2 Burgage plots too. So that's also helping us with our money situation. It's also the power of having tier 3 and 4 houses, quite honestly. But I think the game is trying to push. I think it's trying to push for a more varied, like little settlement, right? Like you have some nice houses some not. All right, so we got garments. It's just the beverages now. All right, so the malt house is going. The oven will get up here. We'll get one in the oven. Over here in the granary, we're gonna just disable everything. Alcohol production. So they have it in the game for cider and mead, right? But we just can't produce them, and I think that's actually kind of silly. Like, just put it in. See what happens. Okay, yeah, all the grains. Actually, this is really cool. So they put all the crafting materials here. I'm gonna say herbs. I mean, they can store herbs here. I don't care. And then none of this except for the breads. Okay. And then over here, we're gonna take one out. Go to the advanced tab. None of this except for herbs. I can store herbs because they're right there. And none of that. That way, there's like there used to be a glitch where the granary would come steal ale from the taverns and stuff, and just all types of chaos. And both breads. Okay, so we'll have 2 there, and they'll still help stock the stalls. So, and they can be far away now, like I said. Mechanics allow for pretty good distances. So let's get one in the oven. And the cool thing about the communal oven is the houses produce twice as much bread. The tier 3 when you get a bakery. But what's cool about the oven is it will produce both types of bread. So I like that. You just have one person on that. It's going to do a good job. Okay, so we have literally everything. And then the next thing we need is a brewery. That will take 1 family from us. And we're going to need 1 family here. Okay, so we have it. We hit a good equilibrium. I'm not sure when I'm going to start switching things out. And we need to save up that pair money. Okay, so you can see the ox. The oxen are actually stored right here behind the farmhouse. Everything is working really well. We might need more people for all this. This is a lot. It's usually 1 family per 1 Morgan. So my math is actually a bit off because these are 1.5. So when I said 8, we probably actually need closer to 10 to 12. That's all right. We'll figure it out in due time. We got a lot of lambs, and once we hit 30 sheep, we'll get a butcher, and that's going to bring in a lot of meat. You can see we need to sell cabbage, 318 cabbage. So that's what's cool about these designs is you just have a few families dedicated to these things. It makes it so much easier to manage than all these farms. But yeah, it does take away from the aesthetics of the game. That's kind of like why in a lot of my recent movies, people have asked, why have I moved away from these designs? It's not because they aren't amazing. It's just because aesthetically, they don't look as good as the historical plots. But they're definitely superior, like, hands down. So we're going to export cabbage and anything over 100. That's going to bring in some serious money for a pop. All right, let's get another horse in here. All right, and I'm going to get these to level 3 simply for more individuals. We're going to leave everything at level 1 over here. These are going to be, like I said, we could go into honey. I'm going to skip it. I would suggest if you like that stuff, you do. I just, like a 10% increase is, like I said, most of it spoils before I can even sell it. All right. Like it just really does. When you produce this much, you know what I mean? The issue isn't that isn't smart. The issue is the game currently doesn't even allow you to sell things quickly enough for it to be worth it. You get my point? Like, it doesn't matter if I can produce 100 more if it's all spoils, right? I could produce 1 billion carrots, but if I can't sell 1 billion carrots, then it's not really beneficial, okay? That's the logic I'm applying here. And then you have to factor in opportunity cost. I could be producing it's almost about 1.5 meat per pig. So those 5 plots could be producing between 5 to 10 meat a month. You know, that's hundreds of meat. And that helps me with other things that I'm trying to achieve, right? So I don't need 10% more currently. Now, you could argue it's really good for a smaller economy. I would say potentially. Once the trade system allows you to actually sell all of your products or at a higher rate, then it would definitely, to me, be worth it. But until then, nah. The game just doesn't have the capacity for it to be worth it quite yet. And if you're wondering why don't I do sheep, why don't I do goats or chickens? They don't produce nearly as much as the other things, and I don't need them. Let me explain that. So fruits and animal produce. So why would I produce any animal produce, right? You get a chicken, it barely lays 1 egg a month. It's so, they nerfed it so hard. Chickens used to be really good. The goats produce like 1 milk every 4 months, so maybe 4 milk per, right? So you're talking like going from 1.5 meat to a fraction to like 0.3. So yeah, it's all about, and I can produce 3 types of fruits. It hits, and I know the more goods you have, the less you consume of others, but you do need to take into consideration how much of that good you're producing. Like producing 10 eggs so that I don't consume 1 of something else, it's a terrible return. If I have to explain that to you, then it would be a much larger conversation to explain opportunity cost, to be quite honest. I just know it's a bad deal. Instinctively. I'm telling you, chickens and goats just suck right now. They're just, pigs are better. And here's the reason pigs are better, okay? They make pork. Well, pork plus 1 salt. 1 pork plus 1 salt equals 2 sausages, okay? So you can turn that pork into a double and get more meat. So like if you want to go down the road, right, with me on this logic train, eggs and milk just kind of are meh. Now that's the problem, is that animal produce and fruits are shared requirement, so you can easily get around it. It is cool though, if you wanted to go that route, but they need, if they were to make chickens great again, so to speak, and like each chicken laid 2 eggs a month, I would completely rethink things. But here's the deal. You will at one point want to use chickens, because I know that they've talked about more complex meals in the future. So I guarantee you there's going to be things like cakes and pies that are going to require eggs and milk, right? So I'm not saying that those things won't be important. I'm just saying that they haven't implemented the mechanics currently to warrant them. There's a lot of placeholders in this game, and it's kind of confusing because you're probably coming into this expecting everything to kind of like mesh or work together, but like there are things like eggs and milk that just really aren't that great, but they will be when they implement further systems. So like I said, it's a long conversation. It's just like I could probably sit here for 30 minutes telling you how much they suck and why. Eggs used to be actually pretty good until like a patch ago, and then a lot of us have noticed like they just don't produce as much egg. They used to produce 1 egg, and now it's just so nerfed. And if you have a proper environment, like we do with the woodland, we get a 56% decrease in yield time on pig. So with just the little bit of pigs I have over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pigs, and we just got a few of them. If we come over to our records and resources, we can see that we're producing last year 80 pork. 80 pork. Almost as much as the small game, which actually doesn't make any sense. And it could be that we're not doing a good job. Maybe we're taking out too many of them. And we actually are taking out too many of them. So we set our limit to 12. We should set our limit to 18. The more animals there are, the higher reproduction rates. They're a little different, okay? And so we're actually taking out too many of them, so they're not reproducing as quickly. Anywho, I like I said, pork is amazing. Just that little bit of pork. And I would prefer to make like sausages, and the bigger villages you need, you just consume a lot of meat. We'll get a lot of mutton here though. And also, if you produce more than you need, like I said, I just don't need eggs and milk. I just don't need it. But if you produce more than you need, you can sell them for 4 a pop. And if you have a salt mine and you make sausage, you can export sausage for 7. So 1 salt 1 pork, 7 trade. It's nice because it's singular. Salt itself, though, trades for 5, I think. So you're actually, yeah, right. So you're taking something worth 5. Okay. You're taking something worth 4. So you're taking 9 and you're turning it into 2 7s. So 14. You're turning it, it's 1 salt, it's 1 pork, makes a sausage. So you get 2 makes 2 sausages. So you're turning something worth 9 you can sell for 9 into 14. So it's a really good increase. And then you only have to stock 1 good in there. I would still sell the salt though. I would probably sell salt and sausage, salt and sausage, because you'll be able to pull in more salt than you can physically use. So you're going to be making the best. If you're wondering what the best resource in the game currently right now, it's a rich salt mine and nothing else. Because then you can farm, and you can do salt, and you can make a freaking fortune just selling raw salt and sausage. It's crazy. Just do a bunch of pigs. What you the best way to really do it is not to have that be your main city. It's to take over a region with rich salt, like over here. It doesn't matter if it has another rich thing, if you're going to use this as an outpost. But you just take a place with a rich salt mine, set up a bunch of pigs, let them make sausage, you're going to make a fortune. And then you can just tax that thing like 30%. And that one little salt village will pay for all the taxes, because your taxes are based on your population. So the more people you have, the more inefficient it becomes because you're paying higher tax rates. But you can offset that with something like a giant little salt trade town. It's like if you ever want to do a mega build, it's my #1 suggestion. Is just build a little salt trade town and tax the hell out of it, because the taxes will be based off of your regional wealth. Okay, cool. I got sidetracked talking about how much I hate chickens. All right. It's a normal Thursday. Pears are in operation. So one thing we're going to need is a lot of fruits in order to get to tier 3. You can see you need something. So we need to time this correctly. We do have a brewer over here. Let's see, do we have much? We have no ale. I think we're getting our first yield soon. All right, we can get these up to tier 2 now. You know what? I'm actually going to turn off herbs, because I think they're walking quite the distance to get those herbs. They're walking all the way up here to get them. So that's really inefficient. We're going to turn those off. We'll leave it on the granary down here. Yeah, good. And let's see, are we hitting our 100%? We're getting close. We do have enough demand. It's most likely the fruit. But once this comes in full bloom, it's going to be great. All right, and these are going to be pigs as well. My little pig rant. Meat, from my experience, meat has always been the largest bottleneck to sustaining high quality tier 4 housing. But that's if you do the whole village at tier 3 to 4. What we're going to do is a 2-step. We're going to make sure that all of our farming gets to tier 4, and then once that hits, we'll start doing everything to tier 4. And we do have like 120 clothing, so now we can actually start selling clothes. Like I said, your economy just explodes pretty quickly when you just baby step it. These only sell for 3 a pop, and this is my argument, right? That the game is terribly, terribly balanced when it comes to trade. I've said this multiple times. One piece of clothing is selling for as much as a carrot. A month's worth of carrots, right? Which sounds right to an extent. A month's worth of food equal to a garment. But I'm not making, 300 clothing in a field with 3 people. It's a whole, kind of am when you look at the process. But the thing is I can't, I could actually continue this too. You could just get more and more sheep farms, but it's going to wear down your PC and all that. It just seems silly, is all I'm saying. It just seems silly. Like, clothing should be worth, I think, like 5. But what they'll end up doing is just nerfing carrots and just pleasing nobody. They tend to do that. They're just like, oh, you're not happy? Now carrots are worth 2, eh? And then no one's happy. We're all just sad. But we have a lot of good trade going on. All right, let's upgrade the well. We're doing okay. I think the foresters, you can see they are fighting the good fight over here. Upgrade all the wells. All right, it's time to start taxing just a little bit, 10%. We will I really don't want to lose that passive wealth though. If we go under 80%, we lose a bit. Let's tax 2%. Or let's see, 3% maybe? Oh man, it is glitching out. It like does not, like I put in 2 and it just says nah. So we can do that with tithe. Yeah, it's having a weird bug where it's not letting me type things in. There we go. I got it. Yeah, 3. Okay. So I remember 1% just does 0. 2% goes straight to -2. 3 to -3. Oh man. I mean, there's no harm in doing 1%, so we'll just do 1% for now. Actually, there could be a harm. It could just be like 0.5 and it's just not putting it in right. Okay, we got 36 crossbowmen. Perfect. So the next thing I would like to do, come over to the blacksmith, is switch to polearms. We'll do it to 20. And so we're going to get away from spears. This is, like I said, I like doing this because I don't have to do a joiner's workshop for them. It's just really nice. So we'll get some polearms going. All right, we're starting to produce malt. Brewer's going to start going here soon. There we go. So we just got to watch. There's just, look how much freaking crops we're getting though. I don't think there's enough families to get all this. Oh, yeah. So what we could do with our rock and hard economy is just import stuff, but I think we'll have enough barley. We need to upgrade housing as fast as possible. Yeah, it's just beverages. All tier 3 will give us 1 more family, and then we can invest that back into the farm fields. I'd prefer not to. That's the problem, is if I add more houses, then I'm going to have like 30 families, and I only need like 10 after I upgrade everything. All right, we're running out of stable space over here, which means we're going to need... Okay, we got 31 sheep. Perfect. So now we need to get up a butcher, and we need to watch this butcher very carefully because he'll just start killing everybody. So once this is up, we'll set our limit to 30 sheep. Lamb and sheep yield both 2 mutton and 1 hide, but the sheep yield wool, so I just kill all the lambs. It's a good little equilibrium. All right, butcher's up. So now what we're gonna do is turn off the reserve of lambs. You can even just put it down to 0 and then turn it off. And for sheep, how many do we have? 31? 31's good. Just keep it a nice clean 31 in case something weird happens. And now they're just gonna go crazy. And we don't need to build any more pastures. Not enough stable space. Crazy. So that one we have to remedy. Just do that over here. And we'll do a few over here. We even have sheep over here. That's funny. We're about to have too much food. Yeah, you can see look at the mutton pour in. That's how fast they're slaughtering. Someone asked, like, how fast do they slaughter? It's about 1 every freaking 5 seconds. So yeah, they go fast. So someone was asking, like, do you have to have the butcher right next to everything? I don't think so, because they're only yielding like 62 in a year, right? So it goes pretty quick. So here we can even watch it. I think he's leading. Yeah, the butcher's leading it. Yeah, right in there. So we have it right here. So this is stupid efficient. He's just gonna go in and out and actually physically lead the lamb to slaughter. Like, not a metaphor. Very cool. Now he's bringing him around here, bringing him in. That's neat. I've actually never watched it before. We have no one to build. Let's take the one dude out of logging. I'm gonna order another ox as well, since we're getting all these up. There we go. All right, we're meeting 10% of our demand. I bet you we can start getting some of these up. All I gotta put the family back in there. I think this is actually glitched out now. Yeah, it's a glitch. Don't worry about it. There we go. Tier 3. We got the booze. It's slowly trickling and we got 20%. All right, there we go. We're just going to try to get as many of these houses as possible. As this increases, rate, yeah, 25%, radius will go out. Let's put an overstock reserve of 10. This means they'll always carry 10 more than is needed. It just helps to short up demand really quickly. Okay, and these need to be tier 3 over here. These are going to be our bakers. This is great. We could turn it off and let the ale kind of accumulate. Let's do that. Actually, let's turn off the tavern and just like let it accumulate so we can do one big push, right? We got a few tier 3, so this is going to help us out with some more builders at least. And I don't even know if they got everything. Dude, they didn't even. Okay. Yeah, okay. No, they kind of did. All right. One, yeah. 300. Yeah, a bunch of food is coming in. We're going to have bread here pretty soon. The lowest priority is threshing. So now they're turning it all into grain. Then it'll be turned to flour. It's turning to flour right now. And then we'll make the bread. All right, we're doing honestly fantastic. This is great. And we have 10 ale. I'm just gonna let them continue. Let's see, what's our barley situation? We have 0 barley. What happened? We obviously did not get it in time. Okay, so this is the big problem. I'm hoping at some point they allow us to dictate who works where, right? Because it's super annoying. So firewood cutter, herder, unassigned. Perfect. Over here, woodcutter, carpenter, unassigned. We want none of these people working in the farms. Warehouse worker, unassigned. That's perfect. In fact, I'm going to assign him to the granary over here. And I'm going to assign him to the storehouse. And I don't think this one took. Yeah, here we go. Granary. Okay. It's not taking. Weird. There we go. Yeah, the button wasn't working, right? You got to click it several times. There we go. Okay, so these guys are assigned. Those are perfect jobs for them. Perfect jobs. Woodcutter, carpenter, firewood, herder. Yeah, herding is great. Unassigned. Okay, so we're going to assign you also to the large granary. Okay, that's perfect job. See, these are both farmers. That is a problem. And that could be causing a lot of our issues. Okay, so what we want them doing is logging. So reassigning you to the logging camp. Okay, there we go. Reassigning him to charcoal production. Right, so woodcutter, farmer, yeah, can't have that. There we go. Farmer. Firewood cutter, farmer. Wow, okay. Let's just do this. Fire all the farmers. And we're gonna go down, I'm gonna go down the line. Yeah, they make great. Oh yeah, this is bad. Weaver. So I'm gonna make this gent over here a weaver. There we go. There really aren't a lot of jobs. That's also the problem. It's just mostly farming. Windmill. Windmill's perfect. I'll pull you out. Same with the oven. Okay, those are 2 good jobs for this because they can just really honestly do that at any time. Firewood unassigned. Okay, so you're going to be the windmill operator. He's really far away, which kind of sucks. Woodcutter, charcoal burner. Perfect. All right, this, yeah. All right, we have no one in the tavern. I think they'd be great for the tavern, to be quite honest. They only yield a couple times. This one's unassigned. Let's just temporarily assign it to the malt house. Have 2 people in there. And then now, since all of my farms are assigned, anyone else is from another place that's good. Perfect. Okay, so we got it rolling now. So everyone should be good. And now I can unassign this and just have the free person. I gotta think. Trade post. Yeah, let's put him in the trade post. Tavern keeper. Oh, nice. They're actually all doing good work. All right. Oh no, our storage is full. Oh, generic storage is full. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be. It's like telling me that my logging camps are full. Yeah, I know. All right, plot 3. All right, we got the tier 3 movement coming back. What sucks is these are 4 families here that will be on bread production. I really need to get probably these guys to tier. I'm just gonna have to do it and get those extra families for farming. These are the perfect farmers right there. But we gotta get them to tier 3. I'm gonna leave these guys at tier 1. You can see the forest is coming back pretty strong. At least in the fire camp over here. Forester is also a great job for these folk. Alright, we're just gonna let them do their thing. Okay, we got a big old bandit raid coming in. So let's see if we did our job. Oh yeah, we did our job. And we have 111. I probably need to start working on getting these guys up a little bit better. All right, let's see how this new unit cohesion. Wow, that actually is nice. They used to kind of like slap into each other. They kind of still did, but it did feel a little bit better. Now we have no defensive units, so this is actually a little interesting. Another reason why we're at 88%. Okay, so we're gonna go to, I think, 6. That puts it in 7. Okay, yeah, 7. Let's see. Can we go to 8? 9? 10? Okay, 10 is -8, and so is 9. So 10%. I like that. And they're gonna come out of the woods. Nice. We got this spread out. All right. So none of these guys, except for maybe these gents here, we should have them in a 2x2 format like that. Give a little bit more girth to them. All right. Here we go. Moving down. I do like their formations. That's pretty good. They're not as spread. That was one actual issue with the bandits, is they're getting kind of like spread thin. So they're staying in tighter formations, it feels like to me. They come. All right, crossbows ready. All right, crossbow shoot, please. You can see why I love polearm militia. We're gonna try to get some flanking shots. All right. Not bad. I think we did lose a few polearm. Not bad. And I just let the bodies disappear. They disappear rather quickly. So it's just like, why send someone out to bury them? Just let them go. That was good. We should probably try to get some armor at some point. I'm going to just build it myself. We do have actually a very good economy. We could just import it. Let's do that. I'm lazy. We're going to import Gambitsons. Okay. We'll import 20 at a time until everyone's full. It's going to cost us a pretty penny, but we can afford it. And we're making a lot of money off taxes now. So let's get our retinue up. Next time we have a force, but we have a pretty good thing going here. Okay. All right, so these are all tier 2, so we can get these to tier 3. That will give us the extra farm workers that I desperately think we need. Like, this is a lot to farm. Okay, so now these guys here have multiple families. They're going to start getting some increased yields. Let's get these hitching posts up. Order us another ox. All right, got one in the Malt house. Yeah, we're doing great. What I should probably do is actually tier 3 all these guys and get the workers now before upgrading any of the farms. That way I just don't have to sit there and micromanage it. That way I know that the new people are coming from those spots. But we have 3 families. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, they moved into their houses. So now we have 9 families over there. I'm just going to do a quick little check to make sure none of these people are farmers. Miller. All right, we're doing great. None of these are farmers. That's beautiful. So we should have a good harvest. All right, let's take a quick little peek at what the village is looking like. So this is what we're dealing with here. It's beautiful. It stretches from the coastline all the way back here. So this is what we're working with. All right, so you can see, oh wow, we have 28 sheep. Something weird happened. So let's turn the livestock trader. I'm gonna be honest with you, we're producing so much it really doesn't matter. But it's important. I don't know if one died from old age or they got So one of the patch notes said that bandits will now leave your town after they steal 50% or burn down 40% of your village. For all I know, because they came in through here, they stole some of my sheep. I have no idea. They could have stolen some stuff. So that actually is a pretty big change, is that bandits are more likely to steal from you now. And that could fundamentally change how you decide to, meet your enemy. Like, honestly, maybe a manor, maybe over here would have been better, or a manor over there would have been better. So those are some changes. And I'm hoping at some point, 2,000 years from now when they finish this game, that they implement the city sieges they talked about. And we can have walls and all that kind of jazz, because that would be great. I'd love to just be able to wall this town. I mean, you can technically do it with the castle planning system, but it's a nightmare. Okay, here's hoping for a good barley harvest. We have, oh yeah, we got like 400 coming in. And we'll take a peek at like the consumption production ratios too, after like a full year. I'm thinking this might be like our first good harvest. What's cool now is they implemented in the not this beta patch, but the prior patch, that you actually don't need workers to upgrade your houses. The people living there will do it for you. Okay, so technically we can get away with it. And how many do we have? We got a pretty good army. We need more people. And here we go. Retinue almost full. It does seem like the Lord's not expanding as fast. He's going pretty slow, which is unusual. All right, look at that. We're actually selling a good portion of our carrots, cabbage, beetroots. Like, we're like at a good equilibrium where we have enough to sell. We got bread, 54 wheat bread. Mutton and pork, small game. We're actually doing crazy well. We're keeping everything up. Now, eventually, we're going to need to get the church upgraded. In fact, it's usually doing it early is great to get your approval up. It's going to cost a bit. So let's start getting some of that stuff out. It's cheaper to have your own stonemason. I'm going to put him here. It's cheaper to get your own imports of clay. We don't have any stone imports, so that's unfortunate. We're going to need to import rubble stone. We don't need to buy a trade route. Someone will bring in a little bit. Start doing that. All right. Livestock trader can go down to whatever it was at. We have 31 sheep again. Good chunk of change. I think we're in good shape. We are importing helmets. So let's see. Or no, gamison. So everyone, almost everyone has some armor. All right, we have some angry banditos over here who are just kind of pissing me off. I'm going to take my retinue and go get them. I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm not even going to play around with them. Okay, so now we're getting 144 small game ever since we took that dude off. That's good. We're back up to 144. We could probably get that up a little higher. Let's sit here in an open field. Wait for them to come to us. Here they come. We're actually uphill too. So once they get close enough, we're going to charge and get that downhill charge bonus. Let's actually just get a little bit more over here. That way they have to come at us. All right, here they come. We're going to time this just right. So yeah, they are approaching from downhill. Pause real quick. All right, we're going to charge right now before they charge. Here we go. Yeah. There we are. That was fun. Okay. Let's run them back home. I love the retinue for that reason. You don't have to take away any of your other workers. You know what? We may not be... Okay, yeah, we're 97, 91. We're doing okay. There's a few buildings we're going to need to get up. Tannery is one we need to get up. Lime kiln. Yeah, we need one more stone. Got the stone mason. We're gonna have to start importing this stuff, which sucks. All right, we're way over on food. Just had a massive harvest. Yeah, we're honestly just doing too good. It's kind of ridiculous. That's why that's another reason why I do historical designs. I have to challenge myself because these guys just crazy amounts, and we got all the fruits in the world. You still get minor yields, like halfway point on the other fields. So we are bringing in quite a bit of apples. As you can see, look, 80 apples, 48 pears. When these things come to full bloom, they're gonna just be rocking. And we should have actually had enough barley produce quite a bit of alcohol. Let's see what's going on here. We have 256 barley. 11 malt. This person's being a jerk. I think we actually do need a second family here. Yeah, let's do it. And yeah, we need to get this upgraded. Got a few hitching posts we can upgrade. Get some more oxen here. Once we get both logs over here, you can see they put them up. Nice. There we go. Got the brewery. Yeah, I think another family over here would be beneficial. I feel like we're producing more than enough malt, and they're just slacking. There we go. Yeah, we're keeping at 31 sheep. We got 11 free oxen. Got 6 that are dedicated. Feeling pretty good. We definitely pulled in. Look how much freaking barley we pulled in. And wheat and rye are now being broken down. And we're going to have plenty of bread. This is a good setup. Nice. I think we hit our limit. Like everyone has armor. We just need more people now. Except for these crossbow here. Let's pop them out. And just kind of look at what they look like with their armors on. Make them a little less squishy, right? Alright, so this is what we got. Yeah, you can kind of tell, like, these dudes are just chilling, but everyone behind them a little bit better armored. Not bad. Alright, let's send them home. And this is like the test board economy, right? It's like a science experiment. I'm just kind of using individual things to test. It's easier when you just have one of something, right? One of the things that I do hope they do with this game is honestly optimize trade. Like, I would love to just like mass sell carrots, but I know that they're going to implement higher saturate. Like, they're talking about having a trader per type of good, and like you can buy that trader or take it from another lord, and so like you can try to monopolize on certain trades that way. It sounds actually really cool. I know some people were a little concerned because it sounds complicated, but it sounds like it could be pretty neat and just add a little bit more playability to the game. All right, so let's get a clay furnace and a lime kiln over here. So we already know that we're going to want 20 dressed stone. Let's start importing raw stone up to that point. We could just import the dressed stone, but I hate buying routes because then all subsequent routes become a little bit pricier. So this is an extra step, but it'll be worth it. We're going to import 20 rough stone. And I could export herbs and do other things like that. Wow, we're really sucking over here. Let's get another horsey. We need to get more people in the trade posts. We need to get all our horses out. We just have so much to trade right now. And it is, and as you can see, there's generic storage and pantry, so it is kind of good to mix up your trades. That way you're, doing some. But I will note, the spoilage rate is quite high on these goods. It doesn't say it, but it doesn't have the negatives that a granary has. So if a good, like, those carrots and stuff, cabbage and the beetroots that are staying in here, not selling, they're spoiling at quite a big rate. And so that's why I was saying I don't see the benefit to a 10% production increase, because I'm not even able to sell everything. If I were like at 100 carrots, 100 beetroots, 100 cabbage, I would totally agree with that. Like maybe getting a little bit more would help out, but nope. It's probably more worth it for the ale production and the bread production. But I don't know. Like I said, you saw what I did with 6 pigs. Like, we're producing, like, now we have a lot more pigs, but you can see we're producing 160 pork, which is just, it's just awesome. We're just producing an absurd amount of pork, and it's valuable too. And it's passive, it's easy. And quite honestly, I don't want to trade. I don't want any more trade items. I like to stay to like 5 to 7 items. Otherwise, I find it just gets kind of chaotic. And you don't make as much money. But we're making a fortune. All right, we got 33%. There we go. There's our 3s. So we can get these guys to tier 3. Perfect. Get some more farmers. that money. Perfect. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. Let's see, I think this house over here are both tier 3. So once I get that, I can switch these guys to bread production. But that's 4 families that are going to be dedicated to 2 types of bread production. All right, Malt House is strong now. I can kind of, I'm gonna be honest, I can kind of feel it. Let's take a step back and think about this for a second. We had 300 barley. We have like 165. So now barley is a 1, instead of 1 barley making 2 ale, or sorry, 1 malt making 2, and now it just makes 1. But tier 1 houses don't consume it. So I personally feel like we should have more than enough for the population at hand. It's a very small population, 146 people, and 6 of them are still tier 1. Yeah, so we do have that. So 6 people aren't consuming. So we have 36 families that are consuming. That's 36 ale. We're gonna need a few hundred ale a year at that rate. So yeah, how could it not, right? How could it not be impactful when you have the production of something, especially ale? So they need to implement ciders like ASAP. And they should do it this patch. They should not wait. Like, I don't see why they can't just throw it in to the malt house, right? Like in the advanced tab, production of malt, like production of ciders. And maybe like, yeah, just let us make some cider, man. Or a new type of brewer, a new house. Instead of it being a brewery, I don't actually know. It may be the same thing. Maybe we could switch between ale and cider there. And I know that sometimes they have issues upgrading the UI, so there could be something like a limitation, right, where they have to like completely recode it from scratch. So that could be it too. But that would be my advice. And at that point, just make a new building like the communal oven, the communal brewery or something. All right, we're gonna put the oven back into production now. We have a lot of barley. We should actually be, with the hundreds of barley we have, we should easily be able to produce enough ale for everybody here. Here we go, tier 3 time. All right, so we're gonna have a big group of people coming in. I'm gonna hold off on the farms like I talked about. All right, so we have 7 people. All right, so we're gonna go to 12 farmers, and I think that's gonna be great. I'm gonna hold off doing anything until I see +1 up here, and I know that all 4 of these are, or all 3 of those are full with 4 people. We're gonna hold off on the farms. I hate having to go in and take families out all the time. It's honestly just tedious. All right, so the saw pit is full. I mean, we're not. Geez, Louise, man, it's actually kind of crazy. We're doing really well. Like, I haven't had to have multiple storehouses the first time in ever, because we're selling all the excess firewood. This is a good economy. I like it. Nice. And the wool and yarn are keeping up with production. We still have a ton of hides. We need a tanner. Okay, cool. There's +1. So that tells me I can start upgrading these guys to tier 3. All right. We got it going on now. And these gents here, they're joining the pig game. We're going to need, and I'll show you, we're going to need quite a bit of meat. See, right now we need 2 types of meat, 2 types of fruit. We have that, 1 type of grain. Tier 4 will need 2 types of grain, and I think 3 types of meat. And that's what I'm talking about. The meat game is one of the hardest things in this. That's why I prefer the pigs. So footwear and tier 2 Jesus. We can do it. So let's get that pig. Okay, so a couple things. I also need to start importing clay. And I don't buy trade route for clay. I just let it trickle in a little bit at a time. We're gonna put another family into trade post. Let's get that 4th horse. Okay, so all of these we need to cap. So 20 mortar, 20 dress stone, roof tiles. Let's have about 30. Another cool thing about Regensburg Guildman is it lowers the upgrade cost of all Burgage tiers. It's another reason why I love it. Just for your main, like, it's one of the best perks, I think, for your main city. I don't have an issue producing clothing or boots to warrant, like, the 50% reduction. And there's another perk that reduces the wear and tear. And then Tannery, that will be for the tier 4 houses. Okay, so we got to get the lime kiln going. And we got to get the stonemason station going. And we have, I think, probably plenty of workers now. That's a bad harvest. Is something going on here? 38% fertility. So we're not... I was having this problem before where the barley fertility just keeps going down. You can see it working against us. All right, rye, wheat. Yeah, so you see how wheat and barley are just hurting each other. This happened to me last time, and I don't particularly understand why one fallow isn't enough, but eventually your yields just start going down. So it's doing it to us. That sucks. That really sucks. So we're gonna change it up. This is gonna be a wheat only spot. I mean, it just makes the game slightly unplayable. Not gonna lie. So that's wheat at 81%. The barley here is awful. So is the rye. The barley over here is great. We'll leave this one alone. Okay. So this... What we need to do is dial it down just for the sake of this video. But this is really disappointing that they have not fixed this. Alright, barley there. Yeah, barley in the third. I'm going to leave these barleys alone. Alright, so we got one wheat now. And then this is just going to be barley. You see rye is way down. Okay, we'll have to fix that. I'm not going to put too much time into that right now just because I know it's not proper. But that's another thing that's going to hit you. That's going to hit you hard. I mean, honestly, this is the problem with playing the beta patches. Is there's just all these little things that need to be worked out. So it's kind of not entirely useful to test everything. So that's a pretty big issue. Not being able to grow a grain and a barley, right? I know they are the same families. That's probably like kind of true right there. But with one fallow year, it should be returning to a pretty strong point. Like, so that's an issue. It can't. I think though that it can be done, but I want to put this in perspective. We were producing like 400 barley, which is enough for maybe, if we left more at tier 1. Yeah, it's like maybe enough for like 200 to 300 pop, and that's a lot of farming. If you were to import that, could become an issue. What you're probably going to want to do is start a farming town that you trade barley for something like carrots or apples, and then you could sell carrots out of that town, and then it's a food item. It's definitely going to change the landscape. I'm not exactly sure why they made that decision, to be honest. Okay, well, that kind of breaks a lot for us. So I think I'm going to actually conclude the series here. We tested a lot. Someone had asked me to test the Flexo Brondos in the new patch. They're working beautifully. They're working exactly as intended. I think I've conveyed enough information to kind of tell you what you need to do. So let's just kind of go over what you need to do here in the meantime. You really can only grow one freaking thing. You could probably get away with lent, maybe try flax and see what happens there. This happened to me in the last patch too. I thought maybe I had done something wrong because I was doing something like this, right? Rye, barley, wheat. But now it's hitting me. It's hitting me pretty hard that you actually need to have 2 years of fallow. Like, it's actually, to be fair, that is proper to an extent, proper crop rotation, but it doesn't tell us it doesn't give us like the science, right? Like, oh, wheat reduces both barley and rye fertility by X amount. Like, there's no information on any of that reduction, okay? Yeah, so crop, orchard, and veggie, ooh, even orchard yields equal to meadow and apiation affinity. That's pretty cool. So now the honey's looking pretty good, right? I mean, we're still doing good on the barley. Even at 37%, these fields are so big that we're producing absurd amount. And I think if we leave it like this, you're just going to need to use more land. And that's not too big of a deal. But it is going to limit how big of a city you can get. And this has been something I've kind of touched on, is that I feel like they're pushing people to have more than one town and to play the game smaller instead of like creating this giant metropolis. And that seems to be his personal taste versus like he's trying to make it more authentic that way, like more challenging. And I get it. I get it. But I still think slightly a step back. But things are running pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done on just logistics in general. Like I said, it's like, why can I make 300 carrots, but I can't grow enough barley to drink? And then you know what? If they go away from this route and they go into like the ciders and mead, I would be all about honey if we could do mead with it. That would make a whole lot of sense to have all of that. So there are a lot of mechanics that are just currently like not in the game yet that will make it much easier to navigate this stuff. So yeah, this is a little frustrating, but it's not broke. It's not broken to the point you can't play. You just really need to just do one per field until they figure out what's tanking. Yeah, because you see barley's doing great, but for some reason for some reason the fertility is just going way down. I wonder if we burn the field. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize I can burn the field like that. Never done it. I've never wanted to. Yeah, there's our efficiency, 1.08. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was at least entertaining. And I'll definitely be making more content on Manor Lords. I am kind of looking for a bit more than what was currently in this beta patch before diving in further. I know that they're working through a lot and they're doing a lot, but I will say there are a lot of exciting new city builders hopefully coming out this year. They're slated to. I'm looking forward to games like Tropico 7 and Planet Base 2 won't come out until next year. The Surviving, I've been meaning to do the remaster of Surviving Mars again, but it got really bad. I'm on the fence because people really, really were upset with how little new content was available in it. A lot of people felt cheated, so it could be slightly, I don't know, it could be slightly dangerous to cover games like that. People get mad. So I'm kind of on the fence about that one. But yeah, there'll be more Manor Lords content. Currently, this is the best Burgage plot I've designed. As you can see, pretty robust economy. Everyone have a good rest of your day.